pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have the approval of the minutes.
Second.
Move proper second that we approve the minutes. Any unreadness? All in favor, vote by sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We have a motion for agenda adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Move proper second that we adopt the agenda. Any unreadness? All in favor, vote by sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Any announcement, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, sir. I do want to mention that this month is Board Recognition Month, and because we would like to recognize each board member and our attorney for all the hard work that you do for the students of Mobile County Public Schools, we would like to invite you after this meeting to a small brunch to show you our appreciation for all the hard work that you do each and every day. So, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hartwell?
Yes, sir.
Ms. McDade? Dr. Foster?
Yes, I have one announcement. I'd like to, and this is more of a personal nature, I guess, because this has been going on with me since 1956. But I'd like to recognize the fact that this past week, or earlier this weekend, that Henry Aaron has passed away, who was at that time the greatest living baseball player that we've had, at least in my lifetime, and possibly before that. And as a child of being brought up in baseball, my grandfather told me, he said, and I watched TV with him because we didn't have one, he told me, he said, it was 1956. He said, that young man right there will be the greatest baseball player ever to have played the game. And I believe that that's the case. I'd certainly like to extend, as part of the board, our thinking and prayers for the family, both locally and in Atlanta as well. And just to remember somebody who had class and dignity, and in addition to that, was an outstanding baseball player. That's just a personal thing.
Okay. Mr. Stringfellow?
No, sir. No.
Okay. I just want to echo the thoughts of Dr. Foster, our very trusted PR person, research, so we can possibly put a claim on him that he was a graduate of public school system, but he was not. He left Central High School and attended Allen Institute, which at that time was a little private high school. Not only him, but Willie McCovey also. They started traveling with the Old Negro League and started playing baseball. But he did spend a number of his years at Central High School.
Well, then that qualifies.
Well, to make him honorary, but yeah. But he was quite a man. I had a chance to meet him a couple times. I even have an autographed baseball of him, which I guess I'll go ahead and start framing it now. But he's a great man, very humble man, and Mobile has truly been enriched from him being a native here. I have not seen his old homestead that's out there at Hank Aaron Stadium. I'll probably get out there to see it, but I encourage all of you, if you're not seeing it, go out there. It's quite an enriching structure there. Okay? This time we have any reports or recognitions?
We have two. So first I'd like to call forward Mr. Don Stringfellow and Nicole Bolton from Griggs Elementary School. And we had planned to do this recognition pre-COVID, so I'm happy that we're able to get to it now, today. I'll give those to you. So in August of 2019, Mobile County Public Schools received a grant to bring VEX robotics into several of our elementary schools. Griggs elementary teacher Nicole Bolton participated in summer training and formed a robotics team. The fifth graders learned all about engineering and coding and spent many hours after school building their robot, whom they named Claude. The robot had to be able to pick up foam cubes and move them from one part of an obstacle course to another. In the winter of 2020, Griggs competed in our very first countywide VEX robotics competition for elementary schools. Griggs won first place in the county and went on to place 13th in the state of Alabama, which was quite a feat considering that these were completely new skills for this group of budding scientists. The students have moved on to various middle schools and cannot be here today, but we have a certificate for each of them that Mrs. Bolton will make sure that they receive. And I'm going to read their names before Mr. Stringfellow gives the certificates to Ms. Bolton. They are Izzy DeGregorio, Sarah Rowland, Riker Hoppy, Ethan Sutley, Ellie Weezy, Michael Howard Blocker, and Lillian Strange. So congratulations.
Which one is,
That's the right there.
okay, do you have one here for certificate for her, or is it in there?
That's in there.
Anyway, I want to congratulate you. I've been waiting to do this. I think this is a wonderful thing. You know, for a number of years, our robotics program in high school has permeated down to middle school, and now it's down in elementary school, which I think is a wonderful thing. I couldn't even imagine trying to do this when I was in the fifth grade. Just had to learn that phone. But I truly appreciate what you're doing, and I was talking with Ms. Bolton earlier that once we get back to some sense of normality, that this program is going to be completed. And I really appreciate teachers who give extra of their time to do things like this. And so congratulations to you for the work and the week. You said it good for the there were hundreds of elementary schools at the state level, and they were 13 for the first time. So that's quite an accomplishment. So thank you.
Good picture. Yeah, you're fine. I can tell. I can see in your eyes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Step up.
If you want to stay here, Mr. Stringfellow, and I would like to call all 5 members of the board to come over here for you to be recognized by Mr. Threadgill.
Did you get the chip?
Here. All right, so I'm going to read this on behalf of Mr. Threadgill. Whereas the Mobile County Board of School Commissioners is committed to children and believe that all children can be successful learners and that the best education is tailored toward the individual needs of the child. And whereas the Mobile County Board of School Commissioners works closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the educational environment we want for our students. And whereas the Mobile County Board of School Commissioners is responsible for ensuring the structure that provides a solid foundation for our school system. And whereas members of the Mobile County Board of School Commissioners are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district. Now, therefore, I, Cresswell D. Threadgill, do hereby declare my appreciation to the Mobile County Board of School Commissioners and proclaim the month of January 2021 as School Board Recognition Month. Thank you.
Surprise. It's in the mail on. Mr. Superintendent, on behalf of the board, we'd like to say thank you for the certificate, and to all of the citizens and to the staff and personnel throughout the system, we thank you very much, and we enjoy serving, and we will continue to put children first in all of our efforts. Thank you so much. Okay. At this time, citizen request.
Yes, we actually have Abigail from AEA who will come up, and I believe she has 2 topics that she wants to discuss, but I have her on the timer.
That's right. I said I can get it done in 3 minutes. It's no problem, so that's all right. Well, it's nice meeting you. Welcome to the board. And thank y'all for all that you do and for listening to me today. We appreciate, so this year, we appreciate all that Mr. Threadgill and his leadership team have done this year. But we're asking that y'all can reconsider maybe a bonus for the staff, employees, because they have gone above and beyond. You have a lot that have retired, a lot that have resigned, and you should be saying thank you for coming back. We appreciate you working so hard for us and doing what they do. They have gone extreme measures and had to learn things they never did before. You have bus drivers that have been in cafeterias. You have people doing all kinds of things. So we're just here to say that we hope that y'all will reconsider and give them a bonus like all the other areas around us have done. So that's all. That was that. The other thing is also, and I do have a petition, I'll hand it to you. Over 270 people have signed it, saying they would like for y'all to change the board meeting back to 5:30, not 10 a.m., because none of them can attend. Most citizens cannot attend a 10 a.m. board meeting if they have a job. Your employees cannot attend a 10 a.m. meeting unless y'all let them off work. So they don't feel like they have a voice anymore. So they want to have a voice and be able to listen and learn what y'all have to say. So those are the only two things I want to say.
Right.
And I appreciate it. See, I didn't even, I told you.
Okay, thank you.
I talk fast. Yes.
Dr. Crenshaw, I'd like
Yes,
to
sir.
say something. Yeah. I normally don't like to do this, but, you know, you said twice that we should reconsider. And there was information given to our employees represented by the AEA that what you're talking about was a boarded item agenda and voted on. So could you tell me when that happened?
I didn't say it was just reconsider or consider giving them
No,
one.
y'all
I should have
gave
said
it.
consider.
Abigail, this is my deal. I mean, we want to work, we all want to work with the AA, but when y'all represent that this board had an action that never taken place or brought before us, then it's not fair to us. And then we have to go out
I
and
will
answer
agree with
questions
that.
about
So
that.
I should have said consider giving them one, not
Well,
reconsider.
I would like for you to say that y'all put out some information that wasn't true. Because we never voted, maybe not
I was going to say, I
saying,
didn't put any information out on that.
saying
Let me say that.
but I'm just going to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't like that.
Okay.
And then we have to go to our districts, and I do, and people ask us about it, and that didn't take place.
Well, I was going to say, I
It's
didn't.
not fair
I
to
know
our
that-
superintendent, it's not fair to this board.
agree.
It's
I
not
didn't
fair
say
when
that.
you say it was going to pass except for one vote of a nay. And, you know, people can go look at our agendas, and I appreciate it. I don't know if y'all get our agendas.
I
And so
do.
y'all can post it on your website.
I do.
Then everybody should be able to see that, you know, what was considered that day, what was brought before, and what this board voted on.
Well, I will say, I don't think it was AEA. It might have been MCEA members. It was not AEA who posted
Well,
that.
Well,
That's
I
in-
sent documentation to some people that know it was from the AA. So, but I'm just going to tell you this, and
It wasn't
and we
local
want to
AA.
work with y'all, want to do whatever I do.
Okay.
But I don't like when somebody says something that this board did not even consider,
Okay.
that it was considered, and it was a nay vote. And you know, and for something not to pass at this board, it takes three votes of nay, only when we sell property. And so, you know, if you're going to tell people stuff, or y'all going to represent what we do in this board, just do what's right, do what's true.
I think I know the post you're talking about, and it wasn't from, well, it wasn't a local AEA. It was an MCA member.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Well,
Okay. But I understand your point of view. I
again, I don't
absolutely-
want to print out the
No,
information. I'm just telling
you're
you, I'm
fine.
just for as
I
I'm
understand.
considered in this board, be fair to us. And
I
when y'all want to have meetings with us and all that, that's fine. But be fair to the five of us. Now,
I
if you're going
agree.
to say we do something, make sure it's on our agenda and that we voted on it, yes or no. That's all I'm
I
asking.
agree with you.
All right, your 6 minutes is up.
Any other board members wish to have an expression?
No.
Let me just echo what Mr. Hartwell said. Interesting enough, I was at Eaton Service Station on Highway 45 getting some air in the tire, and the gentleman there who owned the place is a good friend of mine, and he asked me about the raise the bonus for the teachers, and that he understood it had been on the agenda, and everybody voted for except for one person. This was a service station owner. And I said, no, sir, I'm the chairman of the board, and that had never happened. It never even came to it. So someone is putting it out there, someone from the education community, and we just wish that they'll put out the facts. Just tell the truth. If it came on the agenda and however it voted, we're man enough and woman enough to stand behind it. But just put the facts out there. I mean, if you're trying to push for membership, whether AA, MCA, DEA, or whatever it is, we just need to make sure that the facts get out there correctly. So I think that's all we're asking here, okay? And this time we'll move to the agenda. This time, action item, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, sir, thank you. We do have a couple of items that we need to address before we get into the going down the action items. We have some additions. Action item G2, which I mentioned to you at our work session that we will be adding this item, is just to approve to start the process and having the salary hearings, and we would get with Mr. Hack to finalize those dates. So that's action item G2. Action item G10 is also what I mentioned during our work session, is the contract with Andre Reed and Associates to have some to provide governmental relations consulting services, and he will also try to work on getting us additional funding. We utilized him last year, and we found it to be very successful. So that contract term funding will be coming out of district local for $40,250, and that's G10, the contract with Andre Reed and Associates. We also we will pull action item G12. G12 we will pull. That's the Bishop State easement. We're not ready for that one to go before the board yet. And then action item G13 is also what I mentioned at our work session. It's the contract for lease with an option to purchase of 1901 Hertel Street. As I mentioned before, the plan is to use that property for affordable homes. The city has 2-year option to purchase the property for payment for additional $50,000. The grand total will be $100,000, subject to the property being listed for 30 days with a realtor. The listing agreement, I think you have a hard copy of it. And if someone has made a bona fide offer of more than $100,000, the city has an option to match that offer. And that is action item G13. All right, so those are all the ones that we need to address. So I will begin with action item G1, and it is the extension of the unused COVID-19 emergency paid sick leave and the Expanded Family and Medical Leave Act. This is the Coronavirus Response Act, and we would like to approve the extension of this act until March 31st.
Mr. Chairman,
Dr. Foster?
I move we vetted all of these essentially, and with those that, excluding those that were pulled, and excluding number 5, which I think we need to come back to after we do this first action, I would move approval of items 1 through 14.
Second.
All right, got a motion to approve action item 1 through 13, excluding
14.
14, excluding item 5.
Correct.
Right?
And I think also, Derek, correct me if I'm wrong, we probably need to vote on action item G13 separately because I believe it takes a unanimous vote.
Okay, we'll skip those number 5 and number 13 and come back to those. That'll be part of the recommendation.
Okay, moving properly second. on those said items in the readiness? All in favor, vote by sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, motion carried. Now we'll go back to item 5.
Okay, action item 5 is the contract with Bishop State Community College for dual enrollment credits to establish a dual enrollment for high school students to enable them to receive college level courses. Action item G5.
What do we hear?
I so moved.
Second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, vote by sign of aye.
Aye.
All right, let the record show that I abstained from voting as much as I'm employed at Bishop State. Okay? Motion carried.
Okay, action item G13 is the contract lease with an option to purchase of 1901 Hertel Street. I would also like to mention that also within this is the listing of the property that you have a hard copy of to approve, also to start the listing for 30 days for that 1901 Hertel Street property.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of action item G13.
Get a second?
Second.
Move proper second that we approve action item 13. And on readiness, all in favor, vote by sign of
I have a
aye.
question, Doc.
Yes, sir.
This, I think you mentioned before in the work session about the property. So the way I'm reading this is that there's going to be the first property be 35-year lease. Is that correct, what you sent us? And then if they decide to purchase it, then they can purchase it for another $50,000 at that particular point. One of the things that Doc talked about, our last property that we had down there, that we sold to the city, they used it for another, And so I don't have an issue leasing it to the city, but I think before we decide to sell it, if we're leasing it for public housing and it doesn't work out, then they want to buy it and do it for something else, I think this board ought to be able to consider that at that time. So I think it should be a totally separate, if they want to lease it for that property and they build the houses, and once they've got the houses on, they want to purchase it, the board decides they want to sell it to them at that point, I'll do it. But I think right now, just because of what happened last time, we need to protect our property.
That was the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose. I don't know if you recall earlier, we worked with the city and supported the city to do an application to rezone that property for affordable homes for that reason. So we feel pretty confident that that's what's going on that property. Derek, you could speak more of the contract and if things don't work out, what will happen?
Yes, they have gone to the city and got it rezoned, and part of the interaction, 2 attorneys I've worked with, one was a City of Mobile attorney, and then there's an attorney for the proposed developer to do affordable housing, and so it's my understanding from what we've been told that that's the plan, but as Mr. Harwell pointed out, if they do purchase it, now as long as it's being leased, then the contract says it's affordable housing. But if it is purchased by the city under that option, then there would not be any restriction on what they would use it for. That's something the board would need to consider. Now they're up against some deadlines in terms of being able to get the applications in. So if the board were to reconsider it, it would be. It would possibly cause a time crunch for them. So,
If we move forward with this lease, and at the time that the city decides that they want to purchase it, can we put part of the purchase agreement that it be used for affordable housing and not any commercial?
that's not what the agreement states right now.
Okay, I'm not saying right now, at the time that they're ready to purchase it.
No, because the agreement would have already been entered into if you approve it today. That's my point.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So there would need to be changes to the agreement. So now,
But if they purchase it, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they purchase it, it's their property at that point, then they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
correct.
So,
But at that point, while they're getting ready to purchase it, is there a written purchase agreement between them and the city? I mean, them and the school board?
It's,
do what now, say it again?
Will there be a written purchase contract between the city and the school board? Not the lease, I know the lease, but if they purchase it, Or does the terms of this lease already dictate?
I think it already dictates because it says, leased with an option to purchase.
So if they exercise the option, we have nothing but the terms and amount, I assume.
Correct.
We'll be in the same situation where it's that,
Yes.
That what?
that instead of putting, going back and making additional money after they release the property from us and purchase it, they put a firehouse there, they put, a couple of stores there, so they're making additional money
So after we sold it?
after we sell it.
Yeah.
See, I'm just uncomfortable.
I think, Doctor, I think if, I mean, again, if we, if we're not gonna use the property and we're gonna get commercial price for it, if it's gonna be sold for that, it's just, I mean, it's just something to consider. I didn't want the board to approve something, then we go back and go, they did something different. But again, like I said, it's just, the main thing is that we understand, the way I read it was, once we lease it to them, we
What
sign
could
that lease, they have the right to purchase, and they can do whatever they want to, even if the
I'll take
public housing's not there.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table this for the time being until we can get a better structure and understanding of exactly what we're going to be doing, and that the city will understand precisely what the wishes of the board are at that time.
The chair will second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Chair removes the second by Mr. Hartwell. Any unreadness? Any unreadness? All in favor, vote by the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And let me say that I regret that the developer timelines or deadlines will be affected by this action. But surely we want them to know that we were quite disappointed that I felt like we was taken advantage of on that area down there on Spring Hill Avenue. And we're going to put a fire station. No mention that it was going to be used for commercial use also. And they subdivided the property and put two very profitable Dollar Tree and a Popeye's chicken there. I just really felt like they used us. And I don't think that it's fair for them to come back and undercut us and say it's going to be used for public housing and then turn around and use it for commercial also. Now, the area need to be repopulated. That's when I support the residential housing. But if they won't sell it for commercial, then we need to look at a better price. We come in, we get it for a low cost, then we develop it and make all kind of money off it. So, Mr. Superintendent, and Mr. Turner, you all can express the concerns of the board. And if such time that they want to put any terms in there that it be, if it's purchased is used exclusive for residential housing, I'll be willing to poll the board to see if we can have a special call meeting for action on that one item. If the verbiage can be put in, that it be used exclusive for residential purposes. Now, you said they requested rezoning. You know what the zoning request was? Was it for R or something, or B something, or C something? Residential, business, or commercial, however.
I'm not an expert. I think it was R3 or R2. Is that?
It was R3.
Okay.
Residential something, I said.
That's residential, so in order to put in businesses, they would have to rezone it to B3 or something else.
Of course, once they got ownership of it, then they just go back and ask for a
That's
rezone.
basically what it's going to
They
be.
do, yeah. They'd have another meeting rezone.
Oh, yeah.
Did we carry that motion? Did we carry that already?
Yes, we are tabling action item G13.
I mean, the thing about it is, even if they purchase it, we're giving them a great deal. I mean, honest to God, like that. And I want to be reasonable. I mean, if you got a housing project and, Ms. McDade, that's your area over there. I understand businesses bringing back in like grocery stores or things like that. But I also understand Dr. Crenshaw's point about the other things. There are some essential things that helps bring population back in close proximity and stuff. So I want to be reasonable about this. But we're giving them a great deal. I wish I could get a deal on something like that. So, but I think some more specificity in terms of that's what is going to be done and used for is appropriate in this particular case. And
Okay, all right. We move to the next action item.
All right, action item G14 through 15, I'm sorry, G15 through, I believe, 21. will be listed under separate cover of personnel. I ask that you approve action item G15 through 21.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I move for approval of action items G15 through 21.
The second? Move proper second, action item 15 through 21.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
we need to take 15 separately.
Okay, I amend my,
To exclude 15.
exclude 15 and go 16 through 21.
Okay, you remain with the second?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carried.
Now, Mr. Superintendent and Mr. President, I move for approval of action item G15.
The board will need to either vote to uphold or overturn the superintendent's.
What say you, Mr. Stringfellow? We uphold it, or do we? Okay.
I tell you what, Mr. President, if we could, let's move to other, we'll come back to G15 here in just a moment.
Okay.
That's all
We're
right.
done with the action item.
Yeah, okay, we complete all the action item. This time we go to item H, I, J, and we'll hold up on K.
All right, H1 consent is present learning to provide access to online therapy platform that's coming out of CARES Act federal funds money for $4,200. H1. H2 is Liz Huntley for E.R. Dixon Elementary School to provide a 2-day customized professional development workshop for all teachers at E.R. Dixon. That's Title II funds for $3,000.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
inasmuch as we have looked through all of the items on the consent agenda, and I don't believe we have any that were added
No, sir.
to the consent agenda. And I move that we approve items 1 through 9 on the, through various bids on the consent agenda.
All right, moving proper consent, second, that we approve consent items listed under H. And on readiness, all in favor by sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Mr. President, could we move back to
Yes, sir, you can.
G15, please, sir, and I'll make a motion. Mr. President, I move that we uphold the superintendent's recommendation in the grievance document, and that's G15, I believe.
All right.
Second.
All right, move proper second, we approve action item 15, step 4, grievance. And on readiness, all in favor by sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Mr. Superintendent, I think that covers everything. Student expulsions,
Yes, sir. I don't believe we have any.
okay. Informational purposes, note that the monthly financial statement, purchase order of 5,000 and over made a matter of record. Mr. Attorney?
I sent the board 2 emails regarding proposed suspensions. One was on the 19th and one was on the 24th.
Would you say, per the request of the superintendent on the said email relative to the action taken on employees?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the attorney's recommendations with the superintendent on these 2 particular cases.
Second.
Move proper second that we accept the superintendent and the attorney's recommendation on those employees noted and forwarded to us by way of the attorney. Any unreadness, all in favor by sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Mr. Superintendent, you having a scheduled meeting?
No, sir, other than the salary schedule hearings.
Okay. Okay. Is that common consent, Madam, Ms. Abrams, would you notify the board? Okay.
Say that again, I didn't pick it up.
February 4th, February 9th.
What time?
What time?
4:30.
Okay, so noted. Very good.
Are you talking about the one on the second, Mr. Hack? Okay.
Oh, there's not one, it would have been the third was, employee here.
That-
Okay, so,
Go ahead, go ahead, yes, sir.
so the 10th, the one I asked you about today was on the 10th of February.
That one's been resolved as well. We don't have a hearing on it.
Okay, so that one's been taken care of. So we have a hearing this week,
There's not one this,
I mean, the 4th?
not one until February 24th now.
24th, okay. I thought you said 4th. I was,
The 17th is the, well, the 4th is a Thursday, and that's what I was talking about for the salary schedule.
Right.
The 4th for salary schedule.
There's just one employee hearing scheduled for February at this time.
Okay, all right. Ms. Edmund, you get Mr. Hack to verify those dates and times and forward them to us. Okay? Okay, Mr. Superintendent, you have anything else?
No, sir, just to remind the board members that we do, and Derek, that we do have brunch for you in, where is it? The big conference room. The big conference room or the small one? The big one.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hardaway, you have anything?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. McDade? Dr. Foster?
no, sir.
All right, Ms. Stringfellow,
No, sir, but I move for adjournment.
you'd like to offer that motion?
And I second.
And it's been seconded by Dr. Foster. If there any unreadness, we don't care. All in favor of the aye? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.